All right, now it's time to tune up, raise our voices, and sing the praises of Canadian music.
Amazing and talented musicians have always been one of Canada's greatest exports. From Paul Anka to Justin Bieber to the Guess Who to Drake, the iPods of music lovers around the world are loaded with Canadian voices.
That's right, but who do Canadians put at the very top of the charts?
But there's a former rise. If I could read your mind, love, in the middle of that riot.
From the artists who paved the way to the artists lighting up the charts today.
I know when that hotline bling. What do you mean?
We know the rest of the world loves them. Just look at the charts. But how do our Canadian musicians stack up in your eyes, Canada? Let's start with the ladies. Here are your top 5 picks. Nelly Furtado and Jan Arden tied with 6% of the vote. And you ought to know, Alanis Morissette is on the list, coming in at number 4.
And isn't it ironic?
Crooner Sarah McLachlan made it into your top 3. Number 2, our favorite country music export, Shania Twain.
That don't impress me much.
Oh, really, Shania? 'Cause we're impressed. Now for number 1, who else but Celine Dion.
And that's the way it is.
As for the guys' top 5, the list kicks off with The Weeknd, who is actually tied with country favorite Paul Brandt. Just ahead of those two is the fresh-faced Shawn Mendes. And coming in at number 2, the Six God himself, Drake.
Started from the bottom, now my whole team.
Yep, now he's here.
That can only mean one thing.
But blowing out all of the competition by a long shot,
Nobody but me.
Michael Bublé is Canada's favorite male artist. By the way, if you're wondering whether or not Biebs made the list, he did, just under the top 5, coming in at 5%. Is it too late now to say sorry?
Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now?
Moving on to bands.
Did I just get your attention?
Of course, the Bare Naked Ladies make the list, giving us unique hit after hit, dating back to the 90s.
We're not gunning for hits, we're gunning for great records.
Speaking of great records,
Freeze this moment a little bit longer.
the guys from Rush made it into the top 3, but they're actually in second place because first place is a tie between
American woman, listen what I say.
the Guess Who and the Tragically Hip.
You are ahead by a century.
On a side note, is Nickelback a national treasure or a national embarrassment? The survey asked, and you answered. Apparently, the band's not so bad in your eyes. 69% of Canadians think they're a treasure.
It's a great ride. If you get to extend any 15 minutes of fame to 20, do it and enjoy every second of it.
Now finally, the million-dollar question. Who is the ultimate Canadian music culture hero? Well, with a country as rich as ours in musical talent, it wasn't easy to narrow down, but here are your top 5.
The snowbird sings a song he always sings.
Anne Murray, the Spring Hill, Nova Scotia native who was the first Canadian female solo singer to reach number 1 on the American charts. Next up, the man who sang his way into our hearts first with the hip, and then with his recent solo project, Secret Path, Gord Downie.
On a secret path.
As the 53-year-old battles terminal brain cancer, he's got a nation behind him.
How many songs do you have?
Well, there are 220 songs on record. That's precisely what the number is.
And that's precisely why we love him. Gordon Lightfoot comes in at number 3 on the list of Canada's music culture heroes, and we just couldn't pass up the opportunity to let this air again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down from the big lake they call Kitchigumi.
Ranking at number 2, Neil Young.
We know where the music's played.
So now, after going through almost all of Canada's top names in music, who is the ultimate, the number 1, the act we're most proud of?
Hallelujah.
the late, great Leonard Cohen, who passed away last November, just 3 weeks after leaving us with his final work, You Want It Darker.